Are you looking for almost an automatic way to catch fish? Almost a way that you catch them about anywhere you go, any time of the year. This is it right here, ultralight, ultralight. This is a 5-foot rod, a little 5-foot ultralight, very limber rod. I've got a little small reel on it. This is a combo right here. It's got an AccuCast by HiCast. This is a very inexpensive outfit. And what I've done, I've got about 8-pound test line on here. 6, 8, 10-pound test. You'll get more bites on 4-pound tests than you will anything else, but you'll go through a lot of tackle on 4-pound test line always. Also, I've got an 1/8 ounce Lucky Strike Crappie Magic jig on there and a Luck E Minnow skirted tail. That bait will produce, a black and chartreuse is the color I'm actually throwing today. That bait will produce under almost any kind of conditions. There he is. That's got to be a bass probably, because I never felt him bite. I thought it was grass. Whoa. Pull and drag out. Look at that. I had that thing right down by a big bass earlier. I saw in the live scope. I didn't catch him. What do you do? What do you do when the temperature gets down in the 20s every night and you got cold front after cold front after cold front coming in and the bass won't bite? You grab your ultralight, you grab your long poles, and you go fishing and then catch a 5-pound bass. I hadn't got him caught yet. I may not land him. You go out here and catch some crappie, bluegill, bass, catfish, stripers, whatever you can catch. I'm going to get this guy up here and try to wear him out. I just got light line. This is the ultralight I got in my hand right here. I got some bigger rods in here with jigs on them too that are spinning rods that I could have had in my little crappie magic bait. Break out your crappie magics, your Luck E Minnow trailers. He's getting tired. I don't know if I'm gaining or he's still getting line on me. I don't want to give him any slack. There he is out there. Look at the size of that bass. Holy cow. He's never tried to jump. He might throw that little crappie magic bait if he did. Oh, the big 5-pound bass. I never felt him bite. This is what you do when you have this time of the year. Oh my goodness. My goodness. A little Luck E Minnow bait in there. Look at that bass. What a deal. Hey, I've been fishing. And look at that bait just fell out. I got my barb smash down. I little crappie magic jig, a little Luck E Minnow bait on there. But look at the size of that bass. Way over 5 pounds. Yeah, it's a really, really big fish. I thought I was hung in the grass, and then I felt it move its head a little bit. So I set the hook. There you go, baby. How about that, Lucille? How about that? That line's a little twisted on there. Little ultralight. This is, about fell down. That's a little Jimmy Houston ultralight by High Tech right there. This is a Micron IM6 graphite rod, a little tiny AccuCast reel on it. And this little combo is a very inexpensive combo. I've got about 8-pound test line on here. So I've got a big enough line to catch a big bass. Obviously. The water temperature is down to 55 degrees. It got down to 26 degrees last night. 26 degrees. And the fish are really hard to catch right now. The bass are hard to catch. We have cold front after cold front after cold front coming in. Another one's coming tonight. The high tomorrow is supposed to be below freezing. Below freezing. It's in the 40s out here right now, which is not too bad. Got a little bit of wind, which kind of makes it a little cool, but the sunshine makes it feel pretty nice. I saw a big bass earlier on my Garmin Live Scope, and I dropped that little crappie magic jig right down in front of it and moved it around. He swam up to it. I had it about 2 foot above him. He swam up to it, looked at it. I thought maybe he might have got it in his mouth, but he never did get it. It sort of disappeared on me, but I guess it was just behind him or something, and I couldn't ever make him bite. That one I did not see. I'm out here in 24 foot of water. See the bottom there a little bit. There's one. That's going to be a big old crappie right there, I bet. Yeah, going to be a big old crappie on my ultralight. No, it's another big bass. Not as big as that other one. I felt him hit solid. I mean, there's a good solid hit right there. Hit my spot lock. Fight him around here for a while. Not quite as big as that other one. thought that was going to be a big old crappie. He's ripping off line, though. Come up to jump. About half the size of that other one. Not even half the size, probably. Come here, baby. Come here, baby. On that ultralight, though. Look like I'm in a BASS tournament. Sitting down behind the steering wheel fighting a big fish on a spinning rod. See those guys do that a lot. Got my spot lock set up there so the wind doesn't mess me up too much. A little bitty 5-foot micron rod. Just so much fun. Here we go. He's quite a bit smaller than that other one. But a nice fish. Nice fish. Yeah. One of the things you want to do when you rig these Luck E Minnows, especially this joint, do you see where this joint is right there? Now that's designed there. Obviously you can see what happened. It gives the bait great action on that Luck E Minnow. But what you want to do when you hook this up on your jig, you want the hook to come out right about the end where that joint is, so before the joint. So you don't want the hook to go back here and come in here. You want that to be free, so you want your hook to come out right in here. Now I've smashed the barb down, caught both those fish on a barbless hook, and but that's what you want to do with that Luck E Minnow, and that's just absolutely a dynamite crappie trailer. They're inexpensive, and they will really smack them. I'm talking smack them. Thank you, Spot Lock, for keeping me right here in the same spot. I didn't see that fish. I thought that was probably going to be a crappie because it was a good solid thump. There was one. I don't think that would be another little bass probably. Yeah, I think that's going to be another bass. Let's see here. It's a little bass and some grass. The grass was what was making it difficult to land that little rascal. They're getting smaller. Our next one I catch one in a minute, he's gonna be this big. That's all right. That's what we're fishing in. That's coontail moss right there. And it's really, really good grass. Just great grass. So green, so cool. And that's where the fish are, the bright sunshine. That's why we're not seeing a whole lot of fish on the live scope. I'm seeing some every now and then. I'm having some of them every now and then. I see one that'll chase the bait. Most of the fish I'm catching, I'm just catching by casting and fishing over the top of that grass. Some of them are coming out of the grass and grabbing it. There's one. That's a pretty nice fish there too. Gonna be another bass. I saw him. There's a big sight on him. Couldn't tell if it's a crappie or a bass, but it's a bass now, I'm pretty sure of that. Gee whiz. My little crappie magic would need to change the name to Bass Magic. It's in the grass. Yep, need to change the name of this bait to Bass Magic instead of Crappie Magic. This is what you do. That's a nice fish. This is what you do. This is what you do when it's bad weather and high skies, cold fronts, everything like we're having right now. If you pick up that ultralight and some little bait, and this is not a bass bait, now it's really not. Now he's hooked really good, that's the way you want to hook them. Even with a barbless hook, that's hard to get out of there. Not too bad to get out. That's a nice fish right there. That's a beauty, over 3 pounds. Ah, that's some gold sugar. That bass go down there and he said, I met this guy up there. He had the hottest lips. That's what I was going to say. Is that cool? Well, I'm glad I didn't tell you we were doing a crappie show today. That happens a lot when I tell you that and we end up catching something. We're doing ultralight fishing. With ultralight fishing, you never know what you're going to catch. I think those crappie are buried up in the grass. I think as we get along toward evening time, they're going to They're going to come out of that grass some, and we'll catch some of them. I got him. I got him. I got that big fish. This is a big one. I saw him down there. Probably a 5-pounder. I saw him take it. He comes, followed it about 10 foot back behind it. And then he came and got it. I mean, it's a big bass. Or big something anyway. I don't know what it is. I think it's a big bass. Ah, he come loose. Golly, I got a little glimpse of him. He's 6 or 7 pounds. Golly. Was that cool or was that cool? Man, that dude was that long. I saw him. I saw him down there. There's one. That's a big one, so it's probably another bass. Golly. Catching all these bass on a crappie magic, not a single crappie. That's not a giant like that one I just lost, but that's a nice fish. Look at him on that little 5-foot ultralight rod. And a barbless hook, no doubt. Pretty nice fish. I see him. Dang right, it's a nice one. Yeah, he's a nice one. Come here, baby. Where are you? Yeah, another 5-pounder. Look at there. Look at there. Another 5-pounder on a little crappie magic. Look at that fish. Look at that fish. Wow. That one I lost a minute ago was quite a bit larger than this one. Almost lost that one. Golly. Look at that, boys and girls. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Look at that. Another 5-pound plus fish. A little crappie magic skirted Luck E Minnow. Oh my goodness. Wow. Wow, that's a pretty good string of fish. All on one bait. I haven't lost the bait. I haven't lost the trailer. And I didn't see that fish hit it. I didn't see the fish. 15 foot of water on the bottom. There's one. He hit it before it got very deep at all. It's another bass, I believe. Yeah, nice bass. Stay out of that grass, stay out of that grass. Stay out of that grass, stay out of that grass, stay out of that grass. He jumped plumb out of the water. No, he did it again, like it's springtime. Like it's springtime. Yeah, like it's spring. Another nice bass. He was up shallow. He come out of that grass. He come out of that grass. Looky there. Yeah, baby. Luck E Minnow. It's probably one of the most dynamite rubber trailers I've ever put on any kind of crappie jig to catch fish. That Luck E Minnow. This one they call a skirted Luck E Minnow because of the skirt back here on the back of it. That's what we used to call a turbo tail. But the difference in this bait, of course, is it's got that joint in it that gives it that additional action. Lets that tail move back and forth. I need to put a new one on. I've caught like a half a dozen fish at least on that. Ha-ha! He come out of the grass. That bait didn't fall, but about probably 7 or 8 I had 10 foot. I'm in 15 foot of water. And he was on there. I didn't feel him hit it. Just all of a sudden there was a weight on there. I knew it hadn't fallen all the way to the bottom. 3 or 4 or 5 big bass right there together. There's one. Another little one. Well, I guess I got it too shallow water. This is the size I'm catching now. It's the same one. I've caught him 3 times. You're a pretty little guy. I love you. I'll catch you 3 or 4 years from now. You'll be a big thrill. Big thrill. Not that big thrill right now, though. There's one. That's a good one. nice one. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Smallmouth. Smallmouth. Looked kind of dark, didn't it? Getting up here in the shade of this bluff. That's all it is. Ooh yeah. Ooh no, it's a big largemouth. Big largemouth. Big largemouth. Come here, baby. Come here, baby. You stay hooked up here for just a minute. Just a little bit longer. No, 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 no. Not up here. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Not exactly the way to land them, but it works. That's a beauty. You notice that I'm using, is that a pretty fish? Golly. 4 pounder, look how fat he is. You notice I'm using a black and chartreuse on here. Now, black and chartreuse is not probably anybody's favorite color for crappie, but I use a black and chartreuse a lot. And one of the reasons is it is a great color for largemouth bass, a fantastic color for largemouth bass. And yet I've caught thousands, literally thousands of crappies on that color too. So I use that even if I'm just strictly crappie fishing, because I know that throughout the day I'm going to catch me a bonus. Where did I catch that fish? I'm going to get right back in there again, same spot. I'm going to catch me a bonus largemouth bass or 2 or 3. And today I haven't even found any crappie. I don't know that I've even seen any crappie. I think they're in those trees, all way in the middle of those trees, or they're buried up in the grass or something. They're definitely. Oh, there's a big old bass swimming right there. I'm telling you. There's a fish. A little bitty fish. Might be a bluegill. Or a little tiny bass or something. What do we have? We have our first bluegill of the day. Right here, right before dark. Pretty good sized bluegill right there. Nothing wrong with that bluegill. Not the biggest bluegill in the lake, but pretty nice bluegill nonetheless. Nice fish right there. Now I thought we'd catch a lot of those today, but they've been buried up in that grass, and I think maybe just now they're coming out, and it's almost dark. It's not even 5, well, it's just a little bit after 5 o'clock, and it's almost dark. I hate daylight savings time when we go back to this normal time. We need to stay. Now I'm getting bass bites like crazy. Well, I see tons of fish out here on the edge of that grass. Tons of bait, little tiny bait. Bunches and bunches of it there on the edge of that grass. There's a whole bunch of fish right there. Look at all those fish right in front of the boat. Look at that. Look at all those fish. There goes my bait. Look at them going after it, going after it. Look at them going after my bait. Those are bluegill. Tons of them. Look at them all going after that bait. Oh my goodness, look at that, look at that. Look, 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 look. Finally caught one. There was about 20 of them after it, little bluegill. No, they were little crappie. That was all little crappie. Looky there. That was a whole bunch of little crappie. Little crappie that's about 10 inches long. Looky there, that's what that was. Maybe that might have been some bluegill and crappie was in there with it, I don't know. They're just, and we come over the top of them now. But there was a bunch of them right there, and they all took after my bait like crazy. I should turn my transducer around backwards. I'll just let that go down through there again, see if another one grabs it. Got in the grass. Huh. Boy, there was a whole bunch of them there. I say a bunch of them, probably 10 or 15. They were all chasing that bait, and finally one of them bit it. All chasing that bait. Another one bit it right then. I think some of those are bluegill. And all of a sudden one was a crappie. I saw a bass. Saw a bass right here. There he is. Threw back there behind the boat where I caught that other. There's probably going to be another crappie. Probably going to be another crappie. That's a little crappie too. Pretty nice crappie. Nothing wrong with that crappie. Whoa! What are you talking about, Lucille? Oh, nice crappie. Yes, it is. Now, not the biggest crappie in the lake, but that's a nice crappie. That's the size crappie you want to catch right there. Look at that. Okay, now we've done what I thought we'd be doing all day long. I thought we'd catch crappie, and I thought we would catch bluegill, and I thought we would catch largemouth bass. We mostly caught largemouth bass. I love this ultralight fishing.